I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
I'm Ash.
We are three people in a kitchen having a chat.
So here it is. It's the podcast nobody asked for. Three guys in a kitchen, drinking coffee and having a chat.
But we're not just talking about our lives and ourselves, but we are talking about our experiences on a bit of a deeper level and about things that everybody experiences. We are an example of what people talk about, and we do want to discuss certain things that are deep and meaningful and our emotions, in the idea that maybe it might interest people, might help people, it might entertain people, you know, and that's sort of that's where I thought maybe we could start off, if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it right there. I just think, you know, these days there is the view that, you know, men don't talk.
Yeah.
Right. And largely that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I think getting into things about how you feel and your emotions and how you think are things that don't come up in conversation very often, you know, with groups of men, really.
Yeah.
I think men have a difficult aspect to their lives, which is about what is their identity, what is their role, you know, and in a lot of ways, you know, there is a lot of kind of emphasis put on being the breadwinner, if you like, being the person that takes responsibility. And those things are highly challenging. And, you know, you're under a lot of pressure to succeed, achieve things, etc. And all of those bring with it those kind of thoughts of, you know, what if I don't succeed? What happens?
The expectation.
And so, you know, having a focus on those things and trying to open it up to things like this, where, you know, you begin to start talking to each other and, you engender that kind of in the friendships that you have with other people is key, I think.
And we're very lucky that we are able, the three of us, to have deep conversations.
Yeah.
We're very lucky, and not many people can. Not many people can do that. And, you know, maybe that's something else that we're encouraging. You know, it's for people not. It's not just us three having a conversation, but encouraging other people as well to sit and be three guys in a kitchen having a chat. You know, it's a movement.
I mean, I had that situation only yesterday where I met somebody at the gym who was a father and son, and the son is from my Kieran's school age, same age, and the dad, his dad, and it's the first time I met them for a long, long time, and I mentioned the fact that they probably don't know, but Anna had passed away, and the son said, my mother passed away in October. And his immediate kind of thought was that he should get in touch with Kieran and they should have this kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Which was amazing, I thought, you know, for him to immediately make reference to that. And I then said to his dad that we ought to meet.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we have a similar kind of circumstances. And, you know, there's a lot of benefit in us kind of opening up and talking about how we feel. Right. And so we'll do that.
Good, great.
Do you remember?
It's something that you share.
No, that's really good. But I'd go the other way. Naturally go the other way. Because when it comes to most emotions, I go, emotions, yucky, the feelings, you know, shove them away. Because I don't like them very much. They sort of get in the way of my logic and reason.
Yeah. This conversation that we're having this morning seems to be peeling a little bit of those.
Yes, it does. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's the skin crawl having the emotion stuff. It really does. I can't bear it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just one of them things. It shouldn't be, And it's not good for it to be. I'm very aware of that, but also some ways I'm like that. Jump away.
Which is, your
Yeah.
thing. But it's another example of encouraging these conversations.
One of the thoughts that we had about introducing ourselves for the podcast and the series, I'm almost of the view that actually we don't really need to introduce ourselves. We know who we are in terms of names. Right?
Yeah.
To make the point that, whatever we talk about is our own opinions.
Yeah.
We're not experts in the field of these things. And actually, what we talk about is based on what we've maybe established in reading something or watching something or listening to something on the radio. And it may be right. We may get it wrong.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're not purposefully going out there to distribute.
educate.
Yeah. We're not trying to go out to educate. We're not trying to spread misinformation. We're not trying to. It is just our opinions. If we're wrong, we'll say wrong. Sorry, we didn't mean to be. If that's about fact, opinions, you can't really. You can't. My opinion is my opinion, and that's neither right nor wrong, nor is anybody's.
Are we okay with the introduction bit? Just so we've talked about, our concept of the podcast itself.
Yeah.
And we're just here talking, really, and we'll ramble.
We are.
And more topics will come up that we haven't planned for, so that's good. So just a comment I thought we would make about our conversations that we're having.
Yeah.
What I don't want to get into is the idea that we know what we're talking about.
I don't think to give the impression that we know what we're talking about.
Do you know what I mean? Because we can talk about stuff.
I think we'll talk about stuff, and even if somebody does listen to us and go, that's wrong, I'm sure there'll be somebody that will correct us. That'll be part of it.
Yeah, but we're not experts.
Not
in
Any field.
in any.
So no, I think the best thing we say, we have experiences of certain areas, and then we've seen things that give us our own theories on anything. That's it.
So we have views. We just have views on things.
It's just views.
And that's all we're really...
Sometimes they're backed up, sometimes they're not. I can ramble off, step by step of the Battle of Bosworth if you want, and that will be factually correct.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much that's going to come up.
It's just come up.
45 minutes on Battle of Bosworth.
No, I'm not. No.
We'll do a separate channel. We'll do a history channel.
No, I'm not doing history channel. Because I don't want the arguments with the people in the comments. I already get that when I go on TikTok. It's a comment. So I'm angry as well when I do the own comments myself.
Yeah, so he has to engage when people...
Yeah, so...
It's more when somebody gets it wrong. And I've got no problem with being wrong. I just don't want to be corrected when they're also wrong.
Yeah. But let's, we just carry on and talking the way we are. I mean, part of what we're doing here was to almost replicate what we did when you used to come around to do the garden.
Yeah.
Or when you still come around to do the garden.
Yeah.
It's not planned. It's just something that we can, and that's good.
Yeah.
Earlier on, we started a conversation. Shall we go back to that? It's still nice.
Yeah, go on then. What were we on? Which hours prices?
Well, it's all that.
Yeah, we're still starting to start off with that. Yeah, because you asked how many, and then Benjamin started in the 6, and I said I was looking for future-wise, and I struggled like, oh my God, how am I going to be able to have a 5-bedroom house? And I'm not sure I will be able to. So, life.
But why do you need a 5-bedroom house?
Because it's interesting.
Well,
Just a girlfriend wants 3 kids and 2 dogs.
right.
So you've got bedrooms for the dogs as well?
No, but if I got... No, that's actually, no, to be fair, the 5 bedrooms as opposed to 4 bedrooms is more just in case, because I found...
Should get you down.
So it's in case, in my planning, because I plan for everything, I just see everything, even when it's not going to happen. It's because her sisters are twins, and because twins is genetic, I'm worried about her having twins, so I need to plan for that in case. We've had 1, 2, and then ends up being 3 and 4 by accident.
Yeah.
And that's why I was thinking 5 beds.
Yeah.
Planning ahead.
Planning ahead.
Planning ahead, yeah.
It's a possibility. It happens. It happens.
You're bringing in redundancy to the
Yeah, to the time.
plan.
Do you worry about this?
What, money-wise or life-wise?
Well, generally, I mean, it seems like a, you know,
If I had all the money, if I had
through.
if I had all the money in the world, no, I wouldn't be worried. It's just the monetary aspect.
Yeah, who does have all the money?
Exactly.
And there are.
No, obviously. But if I had enough money, if somebody gave me, this is the amount of money you'll need to be comfortable, in inverted commas,
Yeah.
then yeah, I would worry.
Did you plan
My daughter.
to have children? Did you have a fixed idea about how many kids you were going to have?
I wanted no children. And being completely honest, so when I found out that we were having my daughter, I didn't want to have a child. I didn't feel that it was something that I wanted. And I maintained that position. And it's sad to say it, but it's honest. I maintained that throughout the pregnancy. I maintained not wanting to have a child the whole 9 months. And that's quite sad, isn't it? You know, I didn't go to any scans. I didn't do anything like that. I was not interested.
Whatever you might have thought there, that doesn't mean that you don't love them now.
No, and that's the interesting thing that I keep saying to Matthew, because as I say, I didn't want to, had no intention of, and was not interested throughout the entire pregnancy. And then that first night we brought her home, I just sat there staring at her for hours, just hours of just staring at this thing. And the love is like no love that you ever have for anyone else ever. You can love your parents, you can love your partner, but your children is something else. I saw Ryan Reynolds being interviewed about having kids, and he said, I love my wife and I thought it was the greatest love that I've ever had, but I would throw her under a bus for my children. And I know it's a joke, but it is that immense.
Yeah.
Complete different level of. And Matthew, having not experienced it, thinks that he'll never feel it.
I don't think I will. I don't think I will the same way. I'm sure I love them very, very much. It's just this all-encompassing thing makes me just go, ugh, of course I'm not going to feel like that. That's gross.
And you feel that.
Emotions, gross.
I think you can't say that until it happens.
Obviously not, but that's just, obviously, you know, who knows, 5 years' time, still doing this, I'll be going, at that time when I spoke about this, what an idiot I was.
We'll save this.
You know, we'll save this for then. But, so
in my situation, I think, we were together for 18 years before we had a child.
Yeah.
no, that's like my parents. They were together 16 years before they had kids, because they went into it not wanting kids at all, both of them.
Yeah, and that's similar. I mean, we had, I guess we had kind of almost political reasons for not having children. You know, we just thought that the world was in such a state, you know, kind of late 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
etc. We thought, you know, why would you want to bring
Why would you probably bring a child
into this world? And there was an element to that. It wasn't strong, but I mean, you know, we planned not to have children. We just didn't.
So it wasn't that you didn't plan to have children. You actively planned not to have children.
Yeah. But then you can't. You know, a decision that you make when you're younger, you can't always hold on to that forever because things change.
Yeah.
Right? And what changes are things like your age as you get older.
Yeah.
Your body clock from your wife's point of view, because you've got to make decisions. So we had children quite late. Mm-hmm. So I was 38 when we had Kieran.
Yeah.
My wife was 36.
Yeah.
Right? In those days, that was quite late.
Yeah.
But
It's uncommon now.
not as uncommon now, but it was late then. And I think the decision we came to was that, we're going to regret something, right? We're either going to regret not having children, or we're going to regret having children. Right?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And you can't regret. We could have got it somewhere in our lives, and we could have said, "Well, I really regret not having children."
You're better off.
And you can't do anything about that.
Yes.
Right.
You're better off regretting something that you did rather than something that you didn't do.
Exactly right.
That's
So my point was that, sometime down later in life, we'd have thought, shit, we can't do anything about that now. So I'd rather have children, right?
Yeah.
And regret it later. But actually, at least we've got them.
Yeah.
Right? And that's basically it.
Yeah.
So we carried on having a child. And
How did you get to that conversation?
well,
So you were together for 18 years.
yeah. How
You
did
know,
we-
how did you just walk in one day?
Well,
I can go, right, let's have kids.
Again, I think because my wife was a feminist, right, and in my view and our view was that the decision had to be hers, right? Because there's no way that if I wanted kids and she didn't, that I could force that up. So
Exception.
the decision had to be hers, and for many years she said quite categorically that she didn't want to have children. But then as time went on, and I think that she felt that her body clock was running out, if you like, and if she didn't have children now, it would become more and more difficult. That forced a decision on her. And she changed her mind and said, I would like to have children, right? And then I fell in line with that. Right?
Did you fell in line?
Yeah, it wasn't that I didn't want children, but once she'd made the decision, it was easier for me to make that decision.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, so you didn't fall in line as in,
No,
it was some pocket demands.
No, not at all.
No,
Not
okay.
So that was partly it. And actually, in a way, it was fortuitous that we decided to have a child at that precise time, right? And the reason is that when Anne was pregnant with Kieran, my brother died in a car accident, right? And 3 months later, Kieran was born. And for my parents, that was the savior. Having lost a child at the age of 32, it would have broken them completely.
Yeah.
The fact that Kieran came along meant that they had something to focus on, right? And that saved them, right? So that was the other strange and funny thing also about having children is that we didn't have the second child, Aiden, till 5 years later. Right. I think partly because we thought, well, we've got one now, we don't need any.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't need any more. But then late, as time goes on, you think, well, actually, you don't want the child to be the only one. It would be a shame if you didn't have a sibling to grow up with.
And that was the basis of your decision?
Yeah, and so we decided to have Aiden. And the funny thing was that was 5 years later, right? And I think that, and we hadn't realized, we'd forgotten what it was like to have the child to start with, right? And all the challenges and difficulties. And I think you're programmed to forget.
Okay.
Because if you remembered all the things that you went through and the challenges and difficulties you went through, you would not have enough.
You wouldn't have it.
You're quite right. So I think you're programmed to forget, because when he did come along, I go, my God.
Yes, I remember the sleepless night.
Yes.
I remember the changing nappies and everything else. Yeah.
But once we'd had Aiden, it was complete in a sense that, we felt that the two, at least as siblings, would grow up together, and that would be, beneficial for both.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was an only child, and my ex-wife, my daughter's mom, she's one of 4. Is she 5? Yeah, she's one of 5. She wanted a big family. She's very big family background. Very close knit. Live nearby. Everything's done with family. So she wanted quite a few children. and I only wanted one. If anything, I mean, I didn't really want, as I said, I didn't really want any, but the idea of having more than one, because I was an only child, didn't cross my mind. Then after Isabel was born, we swapped completely.
Yeah.
She didn't want any more.
Yeah.
And I would have, if money wasn't an issue, I'd have had a football team. You know, I loved it.
You mean your 11 versus Boris Johnson?
And I you know, being a dad. I love being a dad.
Yeah.
I'm a girl dad. I love being a girl dad. Always, I'm not, you know.
Those because you said how like you decided to have two because one needed a friend, and I'll go through the story I tell about my parents and their decision making. 15 years of saying don't want kids, and then Mum goes, "Oh, we need one," and then Dad goes, "Fine." So they had one, and then a couple of years later goes on, and then like, she needs a friend. Only children are weird. I was literally, I don't know if I'm paraphrasing, but like, she needs a friend. Okay, we'll get her a friend. And then a few years goes by, and then Mum goes, the last time I felt this shit, I was, and that was me. And I tell the story quite a lot, because it's just all those bits of going, none, one, needs a friend, oh shit. So it's actually before. It's literally the full thing of being a parent, of categorizing all the emotions you can have into 3 kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Anything,
But I don't mind that. I'm not that bothered.
do you think you'll feel the same way? Because you're adamant that you're not going to feel the same way. But your parents did, and Ash did, and I did.
Listen, where I think I'm completely on the fence. I have them or I don't. It really doesn't. It doesn't bother me. If I have them, great. If I don't have them, not great. But when I was dating, if the woman said absolutely no kids, whatever, no thing, that kind of put me off for a bit.
Which is
Which is so odd. And I didn't understand that. I just should be going, yeah, fine, whatever.
not bothered about it.
I'm not bothered about it.
But as soon as she was out,
As soon as it's completely ruled out, one way or another,
That's because
I'm a bit more unsure. And that's it.
you want to hedge your bets.
Yeah, I kind of do. I just want to hedge my bets. So I was like,
You want the option.
if I went into a day and they said, yeah, I'm not sure, whatever, like me, I'd be like, brilliant. If you said I definitely want them, I was like, yeah, fine, I can get on board with this. But if you said absolutely not, it's not going to get, I don't know, it just changes. I can't go down like closed doors.
What's the gap between your siblings and you?
It's about 3 years each time.
Were you very competitive as kids?
The family's very competitive.
Is it? I always think that when you have siblings very close together, there is competition, right? Particularly, we all know that when the first child arrives, they have all the attention, right, focused on them, until the second one arrives. Right? And then the first one's nose gets pushed down. Right? And feels it. I think we're all very conscious of that now, and I'm sure that parents are aware of that, and they try to compensate for it in some shape or form, right?
There's a fantastic photo which sums that up really perfectly, where there's like, it's basically me being in the hospital in the little bed thing, and it's my oldest sister going, oh yeah, one of these, the face of, oh, one of these, I'm used to these will be fine. And then my older sister, but obviously younger than the other one, going, what's this? This is new, I don't like this. Because that's the face she's got on, and it is clearly obvious. But no, the oldest says she doesn't, if she remembered the time when I didn't exist, she doesn't remember telling my sister exist.
Yeah.
So there's no, but when my sister doesn't remember a time when I don't exist. So it's just, it's always been there.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah. So that's it's obviously a factor in things when you have siblings very close together. And now they're 5 years apart. And I was 6 years apart from my brother.
Okay.
There was no competition between us.
Yeah.
And I think there's a similarity with our two boys that, because they're so far apart, they're not quite different generations in a way, but they are, you know, Gen Z or Gen whatever. Yeah. There are all those kind of things apart from. But yeah, I feel that, you know, they probably get on better because they're.
It's funny you should say that, because it was only last week that my daughter said that, and she's mentioned it a few times, but just last week my daughter said that she wanted a sibling, and she's 13, to be nearly 14, which is interesting. But does that reflect? Is that her saying, you know, maybe she was she lonely? But then I don't. Well, why would she say it now? Why would she? You know, is there?
Oh, it's because, well, I mean, she obviously has friends at school who probably have siblings, and maybe she's aware of that, and maybe there's something feeding something lacking in her situation.
Maybe.
I have a deeper thought with it.
Okay.
It's gonna, you know, it's gonna sound, I get too emotional. I'll try out things. But she's teenage.
Yes.
And so she doesn't really want to, in the same way, spend time with you, as it were.
No.
Why should she take time? Because it's not socially acceptable when you're teenage to spend time with them.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she does want to spend time with you, but she needs a socially acceptable way to explain that to everybody else.
No. Okay. That's interesting.
It's just a theory, because basically it's just like, if she was like, oh no, I've got to go see dad and my little brother, you know, I'm cooking or something, I'm doing this to help out. So it becomes that socially acceptable thing when you're teenage. It's just a theory.
Maybe.
I might be reading way too much into it and way too many theories.
You're certainly right about the fact that, you know, you go through the stages of them needing you, spending time with you, you know, wanting all of your attention all of the time.
Yeah.
You know, from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed, you know, and even then waking up in the night, it's you, they want you. And the change from that, don't know if you found this, Ash, the change from that to then wanting nothing essentially to do with you seems to happen very quickly. It's like one day you carry them on your shoulders and, you know, holding their hand, and then the next minute, they're not bothered. They're just in their room and
they just want to grow up, don't they?
Yeah.
And they want to grow up, and there's a feeling of being embarrassed from their friends and stuff if you're still very close to your, you know, they want to be independent. They want to be...
Yeah. They don't want to be...
Yeah. So it's not, in a way, it's not a bad thing. So I understand why we as parents become quite upset.
It's quite upsetting. I got a memories thing on the photos yesterday, and it was from 8 years ago. We were in New York, and it was just me and her on holiday, and you know, I remember it so well, you know, and swimming in the sea together, and you know, we hired a car, and we used to, you know, drive to the same place every time, because there was a little fun fair thing there, and she looked at, you know, she wanted me to be, you know, on everything with her, and then a couple of weeks ago, she wanted to go to Swimmage, and she asked me to book it for 1 o'clock. So me being stupid, booked an adult and a child for the session at 1 o'clock on the Sunday, and then on Saturday I said, right, what's the plan for tomorrow? What time are you coming? And she was like, no, I'm going with my friends. Oh, yeah, just send me the ticket. I was like, okay. It's rough. And then I thought, of course, she's 13. She's not asking to want to go swim with her dad, does she? What a stupid... Why did I think that? Well,
No.